Myself, Dr. Sandeep Escandre. Today we will discuss about the amperometric titrations. So amperometric titration consists of the comparison between amperometry and voltammetry, basic principle of amperometry, instrumentation, rotating platinum electrode, advantages and limitations, and some examples and titration curves. So what is basic difference between amperometry and voltammetry? In amperometry, it is an electroanalytical technique in which the potential of the indicator electrode is adjusted to a fixed value, where in case of voltammetry, the potential is varying to the indicator electrode or working electrode in a sample solution. So in amperometry, the current is measured as a function of concentration. In voltammetry, the current flowing through the electrode is monitored as a function of applied potential. So rotating platinum electrode is used for the amperometric titrations. Consists of glass tubing, is a mercury reservoir. This is a hole stem to make electrical contact mercury reservoir. This is a platinum wire and detection of rotation. That's what is called as rotating platinum electrode. So this is the direction of rotation of the rotating platinum electrode. So rotating platinum electrode consists of glass tube of about 50 to 20 centimeter length and 6 millimeter in diameter. About 5 millimeter of platinum wire protrudes from the wall of the glass tube, which is bent at the right angles near the end. Electrical connection is made to the electrode by a stout of amalgamated copper wire. The electrode is mounted on the shaft of a motor and rotated at a constant speed of about 600 rotating per minute. As we know that diffusion current is directly proportional to the concentration as per the Ecowick equation. By using this relationship, we must plot the diffusion current on y-axis versus concentration on x-axis to provide you a graph which passing through the origin. So by using this principle of amperometric titration, as we know that from parallelogram, it can be seen that the diffusion current, that is limiting current minus residual current, is proportional to the concentration of the electroactive material in the solution. If some of the electroactive material is removed by the interaction with the reagent, the diffusion current will decreases. And this is the fundamental principle of amperometry. So let us take the example one by one. If principle of amperometric titration, if the titrant or product out of these three, one is reducible, in that case we can apply the amperometric titration. If the titrant is reducible but titrant and product is not, consider the lead 2 plus ion is reducible, but sulfate, that is your titrant and product, are not reducible. In that case, what happens? When a solution containing lead 2 plus ion is titrated against sulfate ion, a precipitate of lead sulfate is formed. The titration can be performed at a fixed potential of minus 0.8 volt versus saturated calorimeter electrode. As the titration is proceed, concentration of lead to ion decreases and the diffusion current also goes on decreases and reaches to a minimum value at the equivalence point. The diffusion current remains constant beyond the endpoint. The value of diffusion current is plotted against the volume of titrant added, and we got this type of curve. As the lead having concentration is higher, initially is higher, so diffusion current is also higher. As the volume, that is your sulfate added, lead diffusion current of the lead ion goes on decreasing as the concentration of lead ion decreases. At the equivalence point, this is a minimum value, and after that, as both the titrant and product are not reducible, we are getting a straight. So next example is a titrant is reducible, that is 8-hydroxyquinoline, but magnesium titrant and product are not reducible. So what happens? In this case, initially the current is a steady value at the end point or up to the equivalence point, as the magnesium ion does not undergo any particular type of reduction. So beyond the endpoint, 8-hydroxyquinoline undergoes reduction, and as its concentration uh, increases, diffusion current also increases. See, initially magnesium present, but magnesium is a not reducible species, and product is also not reducible species. We are getting a straight line up to equivalence point, but after addition of excess amount of 8-hydroxyquinoline, the diffusion current goes on increasing. In third case, titrant and titrant both are not reducible, but you are productive. Sorry, titrant and titrant both are reducible, but product is not reducible. Example is a lead 2 plus versus K2Cr7. So obviously here lead 2 plus ion is a reducible. The its concentration goes on decreasing up to the equivalence point. After that, excess amount of potassium dichromate present or added into the solution. That's why diffusion current goes on increasing. So these are the advantages of comparametric titration. The equipment is simple and characteristic of the capillary are of less importance. The electrode surface is continuously renewed, current values are reproducible. Amperometric titrations can be carried out at a dilution at which potentiometry or ordinary titration method cannot work. There is no need to know the temperature, provided it is a maintained constant plus minus 0.1 degrees Celsius during titrations. Disadvantages: considerable time is required to remove the diesel oxygen before and during the titration. Presence of excess of foreign substances affect the accuracy of result. Co-precipitation can give inaccurate results. In applications, determination of concentration of sulfate and chloride ions, determination of concentration of halides by using silver microelectrode, determination of phosphate and uranyl acetate, determination of lead and dichromate, nickel with DMG, cobalt, copper and lead with alpha nitroso beta naphtha, cupuran, potassium ferrocyanide for the determination of magnesium, zinc, copper, Fe2+, etc. These are the references. Thank you.